Hello, and welcome into another review. Uh, I've got a bigger Brick Slopes overview coming, but it won't be ready this week. So instead, we've got a review of the Dreamzzz set, Z Blob the robot, as well as I decided to throw in this little Dreamzzz polybag that was a gift with purchase, um, just because I think it complements the set pretty well. Um, and it's quite a good set. It is $20, and it's a good value. I think if the polybag had been, like, if all that had also been included with it, um, I think that would make it a really good $20 value, but I think it's probably closer to 15 as far as value goes. But I mean, 20 is not bad for it. Um, it's a really neat build. This is actually the first configuration of it. And then here we've got the second configuration of the build. Yes, I did. I bought two. Uh, it's kind of a shame because I think there are good elements from both of them. Um, Funny enough, I built the second quote unquote configuration first because on the box art, I really liked this sort of head here. However, it's more just a mask that hopefully, yeah, you can kind of see from the back that it just goes over the top of your regular Z Blob there. Um, and I don't know, having it in hand, I don't quite like it as much, um, which is a little unfortunate. Um, but but they're both still good builds. I want to give it credit there. I think that it would have been nice if you had the parts to be able to put, say, the mask on that one, but you don't quite get those parts, which I understand for like the bigger Dreamzzz sets that obviously, you're different configurations, you're not going to be able to do them at the same time. However, this one feels like it's small enough that, if they had thrown in a couple extra pieces, you would be able to put in, or you'd be able to build both configurations at the same time. Or at least have a best of both worlds type thing. But I have two of them, so I don't really have to worry too much about that. Figuration 2 is pretty much just the guy. You can move his arms. He's got a couple of tile shooters on his hand. And then he's got this sort of jetpack build on the back. And it uses this target piece, which I kind of think was thought out as just for configuration 2, because you can see that the other side of this target piece, it says Dream Slime. I'm not sure if you'll be able to read that, but it's meant to be sort of a flag on there. Whereas if you went with the first configuration, it's sort of a target to shoot. And then the sticker, it changes depending on which configuration you build, which is a little unfortunate because it means that if you go back and try and build the other version, that either your sticker is going to be on wrong, like it is here, or you're going to have to peel it off and try and put it the right way, which isn't great. And for including, because the set does include several extra stickers that you can use as decals on your Z Blob, and that's neat. I do appreciate that, but I don't know. To me, it feels like you should have included either, well, both probably, an extra Dream Slime sticker and an extra Target sticker, and probably an extra flag piece. Um, that way, if you decide to switch between them, I mean, you could do it. And like, if you had this first configuration and you had that extra flag piece and you just had both of the Dream Slime stickers on there like that, they could easily connect it to like Mateo's pencil there. Which, I mean, that's a really cool build. I guess moving on to some of the smaller aspects of the set. We've got Mateo here, who he doesn't include his cape in the smaller set, which I think is kind of unfortunate. It's kind of the unfortunate thing of Dreamzzz, but then again, this is Wave 1, so Wave 1, they tend to parse out a lot of things, put a lot more desirable things in the expensive sets, and then come Wave 2, oh look, that thing that you spent a whole bunch of money to get. If you had just been patient, then, you could have gotten it cheaper. I mean, that's fine, that's LEGO's prerogative, but would have been nice to see him come with his cape in here. I haven't seen the show, so I don't know. Maybe this is from like an early part and he doesn't have his cape, and maybe there's some backstory there. But I wouldn't know. He's got some cool printing, including on the hairpiece there. He comes with the gold hourglass, which is nice. And it's got this printed tile there. Yeah, he's a neat figure. And I do really like getting that. And actually, speaking of waiting for things until they're cheaper, a while back, I made a video on the LEGO custom lightsaber. In that, I've got a display that's got the different colors of lightsaber hilts, and one of the ones that I was missing was this, because at the time it had only come out in the Titanic, I believe. Let's just say a $20 set is a lot more affordable than the Titanic. But yeah, he's a neat figure. I do really like him. And then we've got sort of this weird, like dream bed thing. I'm not actually sure what it's called. It's a neat build. And you've got your figure on there that he's a fine figure. Some kid in pajamas. Trying to think. Yeah, I've got the other face print on that one. And hopefully you can see those. I'm not sure what's going on with my monitor, but can't quite tell if it's in focus. I think it should be, but and then you've got Mateo with his other face print, but the build of the creature is kind of neat, where you can take off the kid, and then it's sort of got just this bed on there, which you can take off, I do think it's unfortunate that there's no alternate build to this little creature, because I think that would have been kind of neat if they had made some sort of an alternate build with the little creature. I suppose if you build Z Blob the first way, you could put these little like blob canisters or whatever on there. Have it take those instead of the bed. But if you build it with version 2, then you really don't have anything other than the bed to put onto the creature. While I do appreciate getting the smaller teeth piece or tooth piece in that color of green, I think it's spring green, I want to say. I'm not sure. It was introduced with Hidden Side, I think. Hidden Side or Ninjago. But it's a neat color, and it's a neat color to get those in. However, I think for the build, it would have worked better to have the bigger. That's actually where we're going to start talking about the polybag here, where the polybag includes a very similar creature design. However, it includes the bright green, or not bright green, the spring green, bigger tooth piece as a claw. And I think that works a lot better. I think it just looks nicer and is a lot more menacing. Looks a lot more stable, which, ironically enough, the polybag build includes a clear 2x2 underneath to keep it up, whereas the actual set does not. And then the polybag comes with this other small build that includes the Dreamling form of Z Blob, I believe, and then is it Bonshu the bunny? Small version of that, which, I mean, that's cool. Again, I haven't seen the show. I don't really care to. But it would be nice if, because it seems like that's kind of a big characteristic of Z Blob, is that he can change size, at least from the sets. I could be entirely wrong on that. But if that is the case, it would be kind of nice if you could get the multiple sizes of Z Blob in the Z Blob set. Because I know there's a smaller version of him that's just the one piece. It'd be nice to be able to get all those in, but unfortunately, that just isn't the case. But yeah, it's a neat polybag, and at least at the time of recording this on the aftermarket, you can get them for pretty cheap. In fact, I got a second one of those as well. And so, it's cool to have. Really glad that they kept that video slime piece in production. Hopefully we can get that used for like a clay face. But yeah, I think the only real improvements that I have that are just real simple for the sets is, well, first off, I'm pretty sure from the small clips that I've seen that Z Blob is not meant to be transparent, and so it would have been kind of nice if they had used satin trans bright green instead of just trans bright green. Would have been kind of nice if they had done that. However, I think with the pieces included in the set, you can actually change Z Blob to be less transparent, which this is not in the instructions, but if you take your Z Blob right there and then just open them up, so move all those to the side. So now you've got that piece and that piece. You're going to take one trans bright green stud and then 3 trans bright green tiles. And so you'll put that one stud, if I can get it in there, put that one stud right in the middle of that plate, and then you'll tip Z Blob over, put the 3 tiles in there, and then go ahead and put that plate back on Z Blob, and voila, now he's a lot less transparent, and he actually has a bit of like texture in there because of that. I think that's a pretty neat modification that you know, is simple enough to do, and you can do it with the parts provided from the set. Kind of wish that it was in the instructions, just because it would be neat to see Lego designers thinking about something like that. Which, you know, I'm sure they may have. I just, you know, for most people, the only like real insight into what the Lego designers put in is through the instructions and through the set itself. And so it would be nice to see extra little touches like that come through the instructions. But overall, I mean, these are really good sets. I really enjoy them. I definitely prefer the monster build from the polybag versus the monster build from the actual set. But you know, that's more of a personal preference. Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say on these. If you can pick them up and you're interested, I'd say go ahead. I mean, really, it's a pretty good set. But yeah, so that's really all I have to say. So for now, bye bye.